Being a nice person is something many of us are praised for from a very young age. We are taught that being agreeable, polite, and self-sacrificing makes us good people. Parents, teachers, and society reward compliance. You learn early that when you stay quiet, avoid confrontation, and put others first, you receive approval. Over time, this behavior becomes part of your identity. You start believing that your value comes from how comfortable you make others feel. At first, being nice seems harmless, even noble. You help people without being asked. You listen more than you speak. You forgive quickly. You try to understand everyone's perspective. But slowly, without realizing it, a cost begins to appear. You start saying yes when your body and mind are screaming no. You ignore your own needs to prevent disappointing someone else. You swallow your opinions to keep the peace. And every time you do this, you move a little further away from yourself. The problem with being overly nice is not kindness itself. The problem is the motivation behind it. Many people are not nice because they are genuinely compassionate, but because they are afraid. Afraid of being rejected, afraid of being disliked, afraid of conflict, afraid of being seen as selfish or difficult. Niceness becomes a strategy for survival, a way to stay safe in relationships by never rocking the boat. But when your behavior is driven by fear, it quietly erodes your self-respect. Over time, this internal pressure builds. On the outside, you appear calm, helpful, and easygoing. On the inside, you feel tired, frustrated, and unappreciated. You may not even understand why you feel this way, because you are doing everything right. But resentment grows when your efforts go unnoticed and your boundaries are ignored. This resentment is not a sign that you are a bad person. It is a signal that you have been betraying yourself for too long. When you constantly prioritize others over yourself, you unintentionally teach people that your needs are optional. You show them that your time, energy, and emotional space are always available. Not because they respect you, but because you never ask for respect. Boundaries are not walls, they are guidelines that show others how to treat you. And when you never set them, people fill that empty space with their own expectations. Being nice without boundaries does not create harmony. It creates imbalance. You give and give, hoping one day it would be returned, but deep down you feel invisible. This is where the realization begins. True self-worth does not come from being endlessly accommodating. It comes from honoring your own voice. And until you recognize this, being nice will continue to cost you more than you realize. Many people who identify as nice carry a silent belief inside them. They believe that if they give enough, tolerate enough, and stay patient long enough, they will eventually be rewarded with respect, love, and appreciation. This belief feels logical, almost moral. After all, society teaches us that good behavior should lead to good outcomes. But real life does not work that way. Respect is not something people give you because you suffer quietly. Respect is something that grows when you demonstrate self-worth. When you consistently put others first while placing yourself last, people may enjoy your presence, but they do not value your boundaries. They learn that you will adjust, wait, forgive, and accommodate no matter what. Not because they are intentionally cruel, but because human behavior adapts to patterns. If someone learns that you will always be available, always understanding, and never push back, there is no reason for them to change how they treat you. This is where being nice becomes dangerous. You may think you are being patient, but patience without limits turns into self-neglect. You may think you are being understanding, but understanding without self-respect becomes permission for disrespect. Over time, small acts of disregard become normal. Your messages are replied to late. Your time is taken for granted. Your opinions are overlooked. And because you have trained yourself not to complain, these moments pile up in silence. The most painful part is that nice people often blame themselves when this happens. They think they need to be even better, even kinder, even more flexible. They believe the solution is to give more of themselves, not realizing that this only deepens the problem. The truth is uncomfortable. The reason people take you for granted is not because you are too kind. It is because you have not shown where your limits are. People respect clarity more than sacrifice. When you communicate what you will and will not accept, you give others a clear framework for how to treat you. Without that framework, they fill the space with their own needs and assumptions. This is not selfishness. This is self-respect. And without self-respect, even the most generous actions lose their value. Another hard truth is that some people benefit from you staying nice. They are comfortable with the version of you that never challenges them. The moment you begin to assert yourself, they may accuse you of changing or becoming selfish. But this reaction reveals something important. They were attached to your compliance, not your well-being. Stopping being nice means letting go of the fantasy that everyone will appreciate your sacrifices. Some will, many will not. And that is okay. Your job is not to earn respect through exhaustion. Your job is to live in a way that honors your time, your energy, and your dignity. The moment you understand this, you stop chasing appreciation and start commanding respect naturally. Stopping being a nice person is one of the most misunderstood decisions a person can make. Many people hear this idea and immediately associate it with becoming cold, aggressive, or selfish. But that is not what this change is about. It is not about hurting others. It is about finally being honest with yourself and with the world. There is a profound difference between being kind and being performatively nice. Kindness comes from inner strength. Niceness often comes from fear. When you begin to step out of the nice persona, the first challenge you face is guilt. You feel guilty for saying no, guilty for expressing discomfort, guilty for choosing yourself. This guilt is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is a sign that you are breaking an old pattern. For a long time, your sense of worth may have been tied to how useful, agreeable, or accommodating you were to others. When that pattern shifts, your mind resists. Growth often feels uncomfortable before it feels free. Another challenge is the reaction of others. People who benefited from your constant availability will notice the change immediately. When you no longer reply instantly, overextend yourself, or tolerate disrespect, it disrupts the dynamic. Some people will adjust and respect you more. Others will push back. They may test your boundaries, question your intentions, or accuse you of becoming distant or selfish. This is a critical moment. If you collapse under this pressure, you return to the old role. If you remain calm and consistent, a new, healthier dynamic begins to form. Honesty is the core of this transformation. Honesty means expressing your true thoughts without unnecessary cruelty. It means saying, "I'm not comfortable with that," instead of forcing a smile. It means acknowledging your limits without over-explaining or seeking permission. Many people think they need a perfect reason to say no. They don't. Your feelings are reason enough. When you stop justifying your boundaries, you teach others to take them seriously. This shift also requires learning to tolerate discomfort. Not every interaction will be smooth. Not everyone will be happy with you, and that is okay. Peace does not come from constant harmony. It comes from alignment. When your actions match your values, you experience a deeper sense of calm, even if it creates temporary tension in relationships. As you practice this new way of being, something unexpected happens. Your confidence grows quietly. You start trusting yourself more. You feel less resentment and more clarity. You realize that you are not responsible for fixing everyone's feelings. You are responsible for showing up as your authentic self. And when you do that, the right people stay, the wrong ones fade, and your life begins to feel lighter, more honest, and more yours. Real strength is not found in extremes. It is not found in being endlessly accommodating, and it is not found in being cold or closed off. Real strength lives in balance. When you stop being the nice person, what you are really doing is stepping into a more honest and self-respecting version of yourself. You are learning how to be kind without abandoning your dignity, and how to care without losing your voice. Oh, any of the most powerful shifts that happens at this stage is the way you relate to yourself. You no longer measure your worth by how useful you are to others. You no longer feel responsible for everyone's comfort at the expense of your own peace. Instead, you begin to listen to your internal signals. Fatigue becomes a message instead of something to ignore. Discomfort becomes guidance instead of something to suppress. This self-awareness becomes the foundation of real confidence. As you hold your boundaries with consistency, your relationships begin to change. Some connections deepen. Conversations become more honest. Respect becomes mutual rather than forced. People who value you for who you are, not just for what you provide, feel safer around the real you. At the same time, some relationships naturally fade. This is not a loss, it is a correction. Relationships that survive only on your silence and sacrifice were never truly balanced to begin with. Being grounded does not mean being loud. It does not require dominance or constant confrontation. Often the strongest people are calm, clear, and unmoved by manipulation or guilt. They do not argue to prove their worth. They do not chase validation. Their presence communicates self-respect without needing explanation. This is the quiet power that replaces people-pleasing when you let it go. Another important realization is that the world does not reward authenticity immediately. When you stop being nice out of fear, you may experience moments of loneliness, fewer invitations, less approval, less reassurance. But what replaces that emptiness is something far more valuable: peace, clarity, freedom from inner conflict. You no longer lie to yourself just to belong. You belong to yourself first. The greatest gift of this transformation is alignment. Your words match your actions. Your values guide your decisions. You stop leaking energy through resentment, regret, and unspoken frustration. Life feels simpler, not because it is easier, but because it is more honest. You respond instead of react. You choose instead of comply. The world does not need more people who say yes to everything and disappear inside their own lives. It needs people who are real, present, and grounded. When you stop being the nice person, you don't become harder, you become truer. And in that truth, you find confidence, peace, and relationships that finally feel equal.